Good evening everybody, my name is Tracey McCann, and I have a question for you all. How many of you have ever felt as though you are stuck in a box, as though there is an obstacle hindering your progression, you are trapped, and unable to escape? Allow me to tell you something, fairly obvious to us all. We cannot simply just sit around and visualize ourselves to success. As beings of this planet, we are supposed to grow, to develop, both physically and mentally. We are never supposed to feel trapped. We, as human beings, differ greatly from most other species on this planet, because we have the ability of free will, we have the ability to say no to something, and to reject the norm. We have that choice. In terms of goal setting, the more motivated energy that we create around any of our goals, we are moving forward. We are moving all the time. Sometimes forwards, sometimes backwards. Allow me to ask you this. Have you ever felt as though you were standing in front of an immovable obstacle, one that in order to face, would make achieving your goal feel like an absolute roller coaster, full of twists and turns, ups and downs? An obstacle that makes your goal seemingly unachievable. You probably do not even know where to begin. It is frustrating. And to make matters worse, even if you try, you fail, and ultimately end up feeling defeated, dejected, emotionally, and physically drained, from just one attempt. In that moment, in your eyes, the obstacle, whatever it is, has won. Most give up. There's nothing wrong with you if you do, it is human nature. But, what you must do, what we all must do, is to defy our human nature. The other thing that can happen, which we are all guilty of, I am sure, is a lot of giving out to ourselves. This self-destructive behavior makes achieving our goal much harder. That little voice in our heads, that spends its time repeating, over and over again, that it's too hard, I won't overcome it, I can't do it. Again, you are left feeling frustrated because of this, because of the voice's lack of belief in you. You are aware that whatever it is that you are trying to achieve, has possibly been done 1,000,000 times before, in the history of this planet, and this fact leaves you feeling left behind, and stuck. Why can't I do it? All of those classic negative and useless thoughts float around in your head. I'm no good, I'm useless, everyone is better than me. You start feeling more and more weighed down by your own self-pity, and the feeling of self-worthlessness consumes you. We have all been there. Ask yourself this. Do you think that by cursing yourself that is going to assist you with figuring out how to overcome this obstacle? Or do you think it will delay, or even bring to a halt, your progress? What is it, do you think, that you must do, to overcome this obstacle, and to actually enjoy this self-growing, and self-learning process? Everyone alive on this planet at some stage or another, have faced a number of obstacles, some more than others. But, there are obstacles that we face day to day, the ones that we have become conditioned to accept as unavoidable, and yet even though we all, as individuals, have managed to build up a resilience towards these day-to-day obstacles, we still fail to face the ones that could serve us. When you look at me up here, I am sure you can tell, just by looking at me, that every day, more or less, I am faced with obstacles. Well, allow me to tell you about my obstacles, that I have dealt with from a young age, and most importantly, how I overcame them all. As I have stated at the beginning, my name is Tracey McCann, and I am honored to be here this evening. I hope you all enjoy my talk. So, why am I here? Well, This is the title that I have chosen for my talk, and I think it is fairly obvious what my message is about. Overcome your obstacles. You see, I am a person who loves nature, and having fun with amazing people, like you all here this evening. My biggest passion is, and has always been, to help and inspire people, via my own life experience. A number of years ago, I questioned the how can I help, how can I inspire others, when I have a physical disability which affects my ability to speak properly. Let me just say from the get-go, I was not born like this. You are looking at a person whose life completely changed, at the age of 8, unexpectedly, and without any previous indications whatsoever. I was suddenly, and shockingly hit with a very rare muscular condition known as rapid onset muscular dystonia, with Parkinsonism. From the moment it hit, within the space of just a few days, I went into a horrible, locked, extremely painful, and contorted spasm. I subsequently lost my control over literally everything. I could no longer feed, dress, or wash myself, and again, I was only 8, and just grasping how to be more independent. It was so terrifying. To make matters worse, I lost my ability to verbally communicate properly. Thankfully, my mum knew what I wanted, she could read my eyes. I am sure that most of the time while she was doing this, I looked absolutely terrified, but I managed to keep my head together, and convinced myself that this was not it, that I would recover. After a while, I totally went in on myself. I did not know how to communicate, and to be honest, I did not want to. I was in shock, and I did not feel as though I was fully in my body. Nobody knew what had happened to me for a number of months, and the doctors at the time actually blamed my mum for it, which was totally wrong. I was given the best mum ever, and because of that idea that the doctors had come up with, my mum was not allowed to see me unsupervised. I was under 24-hour watch. I was not even allowed to be hugged by my mum, or be left alone with her. It was so stressful. After many months of this, eventually, and thankfully, the doctors realized my life-changing disability was genetic, and I had obtained the gene from my dad's side of the family. As the dust settled, and the time passed, I wanted to have as much of a normal life as possible. I took control, and began retraining myself, began putting the necessary work in. I retrained myself to firstly do the simple things, such as touch my nose with my finger. This was important because I lost a lot of my coordination. I went to an endorphin release clinic, where the man there, a lovely man by the name of John Carthy, helped me so much. I came on a lot over the following years. I gained my independence back to some extent. Then, throughout my teenage years, and early 20s, I went through social isolation. Feeling so lonely was horrible, nobody having the time to be my friend was worse. I had friends throughout school, but they treated me how they wanted to. During those years, I preferred being on my own, listening to music, visualizing the life that I wanted. The life, I felt, that I deserved. Now, I am telling you all of this, with good reason. I am now a 2-time best-selling author, with my first book being released last April, and becoming a #1 Amazon bestseller, within the first 48 hours. I am an international motivational speaker. In January just gone, I had the pleasure of speaking in China. If I can do what I have done within the past few years alone, what's your excuse, what's your obstacle? Whatever it is, you can overcome it. Face everything head on. Unfortunately, I developed this condition at a young age, and it has been one hell of a journey. For me now, to be here talking to you this evening, is amazing. In the doctor's eyes, I should have died within 6 weeks of getting this disability, or else been bedridden for the remainder of my life, yet here I am. I am Tracey McCann, and I love to prove people wrong. I knew that my old way of life was not for me, because I am here for a reason, just like you all are. Discover your why, or your purpose, and keep working hard towards it. Make sure to stay strong, and knock your obstacles into next week. Show them who the boss is. It is your life, own that fact. Take responsibility, and always strive at overcoming. Thank you.